It's 20 questions on Wrestlemania with my pal, the Askin Nerbaskin Jim Fields. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast, and also happy WrestleMania weekend. If you've listened to this show for 2.5 years, you know that I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I never shut up about it. So I hope you are a wrestling fan as well, because today's episode is all about WrestleMania. What are you doing to watch the big event? I want to know. Send me a message, send me a tweet. Want to see what you're up to. If it's something cool or something cooler than I'm doing, maybe I'll steal your idea. I'm having people over in my yard to watch it on a projector. And I am going to grill and have some beers and all that good stuff. And it's supposed to be a really long show this year, so I'm looking forward to it. It's like an 8-hour show with the pre-show, so it should be a fun one. And the first ever in 35 years women's main event, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. That'll be a good time. Today's episode is with Jim Fields, a good pal who hosts the Askin Nerbaskin Trivia in, you guessed it, Nebraska. You might recall Jim on an episode about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, where he called me up and asked all about how to host a trivia night. So if you're looking to do something similar, maybe you're trying to get started with your own trivia night, or you want to know the software I use or the answer sheet style that I have set up, etc., you can go check out this episode. It's linked in the show notes, and happy to help you out with any questions you have otherwise. So email me, ryanbuds@gmail.com, if you want some info on how to get something going. I'm going to start doing some more how-to type stuff. I've always wanted to do more stuff, and I just always run out of time. But I'm going to start doing some more how-to stuff, like, how to put this podcast up, or how to record a live show, or how to come up with trivia content. So if you're looking for that kind of stuff will be coming your way in the form of videos and blogs and things. The older I get, I'm starting to really enjoy shopping. Like, I've always been into deals and shopping, but I'm really starting to recognize, like, I should make that something that I document, because I find really cool stuff sometimes, and I'm really into it. So I've going to start recording, like, when I go to the dollar store or the 99-cent store, and just kind of going, like, here's what I'm looking for. Let's see what I can find, because I watch videos like that, usually to go to sleep. My friend Sean C. Phillips over on YouTube, he does that with DVD shopping every week, and other people do it with different bargains and things, and I'm always, like, interested and captivated by that. I don't know why. But if you're into that kind of thing, just keep watching my feeds for some fun, like, shopping videos. I'm going to try and do more of those. I usually, like, give the stuff away as well. It's usually for trivia prizes for the most part. And we're going to be doing some more raffles on the show. So be on the lookout for raffles. It's going to be pretty sweet, because I think I'm going to do one every single week. We just raffled off some Shazam tickets this past week. My friend Mona won those. So if you like getting free stuff, all you have to do is be a Patreon subscriber over on patreon.com/trivia with buds, and you can donate $1 or more to be on that roster. And every week, maybe on like Thursday or Friday, I'll say, hey, we're giving away this thing, and I'll post a picture of it, and then I'll do a video where I pick a random name from the Patreon group. So be on the lookout for that as well. If you're already a Patreon subscriber, thank you so much for supporting the show. And if you're not, maybe you want to jump on board trying to win some stuff like Shazam tickets. I just found a really cool Daredevil plush toy that I'll probably be giving away, and some different magnets and patches and posters and things like that. So go check out all that stuff at patreon.com/trivia with buds. All right, let's body slam our way into 20 questions with a fun chat, and me and my friend Jim Fields on WrestleMania. Here we go. Sitting here on a Skype call with my good buddy from the middle of the country, Mr. Jim Fields, the Askin Nerbaskin. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, Ryan?
I am doing well. I had a late night hosting bingo till about 12:30 a.m. at a dive bar where people were grinding on each other, and nice. it was quite the spectacle. And so I woke up a little later than I was supposed to today. We were supposed to record about an hour ago, and you said, hey, are we still doing this? And I was like, doing what? Oh, yeah. So thanks for being flexible with recording.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem at all. That sounds like an interesting evening last night.
Did you do any late night grinding anywhere? Any dive bar grinding? No?
No late night grinding. Just hosted trivia last night, but no grinding that I noticed, anyways, happening. So
Very cool. Longtime listeners of this show might recognize your voice and name from an episode about a year and a half ago. I think it was November of 2017, if I'm not mistaken, based on the last Skype call log that I just checked when I went to call you again. And that was when you called me up and you said, hey, I'm looking to start a trivia night, had some questions, and we did a whole episode called How to Host a Trivia Night. And I've had a lot of people email me since then that are like, hey, I found this. I had a few more questions, or hey, thanks so much. This helped me get set up with my thing. So just wanted to kind of check in with you and see how you're doing after a year and a half. When did you officially start hosting your own night?
yeah, so I did a practice night that December. I turned 40 that December, and so I had some friends over and did a practice night. We did like 3 rounds, and it went pretty well. And then my first official hosting night was in April of 2018, and then so I guess officially that's when it started. But then in May I had absolutely nothing. Was still trying to get my name out there and that sort of thing. So, but since June it's been just kind of gangbusters. I've got 1 weekly game, and then 2 every other week spots, and then a monthly spot, and then it's been tons of parties and fundraisers. Of course, Christmas time was really good for that as well.
Awesome, dude. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been really good, and it's a lot of fun. Thanks so much for everything you've done to help me get there.
Oh yeah, no problem.
So, you let me kind of steal your format, which was great, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on that. A lot of trivia nights that people have run into are like single topic nights.
Sure.
And they really like that there's multiple topics, because like last night, one of our topics was Bob's Burgers. Well, if you've never seen Bob's Burgers, that's going to be a rough night.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So at least with 4 different topics, there's something else that maybe you know something about. So
yeah, and shout out to Yes I Am Show Business and Tony Valley, who I stole the format from in Chicago. Let's see, in 2011. So I was just like, oh, I like how this runs, and I asked him, hey, do you mind if I use this? He's like, no, go ahead. So yeah, it's like you said, it is the varied rounds definitely helps, and it is kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool that you can have the Bob's Burgers round in there for the people that really love it, and then maybe some older people who have never heard of it are like, what? But then maybe the next round, art history or whatever, they're like, whoa, this is our wheelhouse. So I think it's good to have those very specific rounds every once in a while. I try to keep everything mostly pretty broad, but I do try and keep in mind the different age groups that are going to play, especially for the venues. Like most of my venues are people from, 21 to 40. But then some venues are a little bit more older. So it's like I try and kind of work in something for everybody. And that's the fun of that format, I think.
I totally agree. And it is, and it's also, I agree. Each venue is a little different, like you said, with different age groups and kind of what they know. And I've kind of learned that, if one specific venue really does great on a round, I know another venue is going to do even better.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's like, oh, okay, I didn't write that round quite as hard as I thought I did, apparently.
Yeah. It's fun to kind of figure out that stuff and kind of track it in your head. And you're like, ooh, how are they going to do if they didn't do well here? How's it going to go at the other place? It's interesting to figure that out. But that's awesome, man. You got a nice handful of stuff going on, and you're only a year in. You're on your year anniversary right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much a year anniversary now, so it's
very cool.
A blast, and met a lot of great people, and so it's been good.
I think that is one of the biggest things that keeps me going. Instead of going to like an office every day where you have the same group of 20 people, you're going to a similar venue every day or every week. But it's different every day, and you see a different group of people, and sometimes it's the same, and sometimes they're different, or sometimes they bring new friends or family members, and it is cool how it kind of you grow in these relationships. And as somebody who has no time to really go hang out with friends, that's how I scratch the itch of friendship, is just talking to people about wrestling and stuff like you and I are about to do. So yeah, it works out pretty good. But that's awesome, man. Glad to hear it's going so well.
Thanks.
We are going to jump into some Wrestlemania trivia questions. You and I are big wrestling fans, and I thought it'd be fun to go back and forth this Wrestlemania 35 weekend here in 2019 and see how many we can get. So I'll keep track of who gets more questions, and we'll see how it goes. Did you make yours really tough?
again, it always goes back to sometimes some of them I think are, and others I think aren't, but yet I'm not sure, how much you know your details and those kinds of things. So
yeah,
it's always interesting to me to see that. Much like any rounds I write, sometimes I think they're really easy, and then people just bomb them terribly.
If you asked me something like, can you define sharecropping? I'd be like, what? But if you're like, what color was Owen Hart wearing at this pay-per-view? I could probably pull it off. Like it's like,
right.
Like things that really happened in history. I just can't retain the details. I can retain the bullet points, but the stuff like this that doesn't matter is always right at the front of my head.
That's the stuff. Well, maybe you'll do well then.
I hope you have a lot of questions about Owen Hart's outfits.
Geez, I didn't have any of those. Sorry.
I basically went to a top 15 match moments of WrestleMania article and kind of pulled the info from there that I'm going to ask you. So I got 10 questions for you. You got 10 questions for me. You want me to go first or you want to go first?
You go ahead.
All right. Here's question number 1 for WrestleMania history trivia. What superstar was WWE champion going into WrestleMania 10? So who had the belt at the start of WrestleMania 10?
WrestleMania 10, that was Yokozuna.
That is 100% correct. Nice job. Do you remember watching that one?
I do. I think I've seen it. Well, I've seen them all now, but I started watching wrestling right before WrestleMania 2.
Okay.
When King Kong Bundy injured Hulk Hogan's ribs. So
yeah.
That was kind of the first. I think 3 was the first one I actually saw live. They used to do the closed circuit.
Oh yeah.
Deal in the arenas. So 10,000 people watching a big screen and cheering like we're actually there. It was kind of fun. So,
that's awesome. So you were at that one? You were at one of the sites of that WrestleMania 3?
Well, I was at one of the closed circuit. Yeah, just watching the big screen.
Gotcha.
In Rockford, Illinois. So
that's awesome.
I've been to a couple of WrestleManias, but that was a lot later in life when I had my own money.
Yeah, it is pretty expensive to go. I have friends on the Fully Posable Wrestling Action Figure podcast, Jeff and Scott Toon, and those guys go every year and they do the whole week of Access and Fan Central and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, I went one time for WrestleMania 28 in Miami, and we tried to go really cheap. We flew down there and then we stayed at a Airbnb type place, and it was just me and a buddy, and he was like covering it for like a wrestling website, so he got to get a lot of stuff for free, but we had a lot of fun. It still cost me probably $1,000, like when everything was all said and done, just to go and not do that much extra stuff. And I think if you are going to try and do all the extra stuff, it's more like $3,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can get real expensive real fast, and this year especially being in New York, I mean, everything's expensive in New York, so
that's true. Yeah, I'm waiting for the next big West Coast one so I can try and go again.
Yeah, that would, me sitting here in Nebraska, I'm not real sure they're coming to Nebraska anytime soon for WrestleMania. So.
They're not going to do the Lincoln Center or something?
Yeah, probably not. We get a Raw or a SmackDown every once in a while, I think, but WrestleMania probably not coming to Nebraska anytime soon. So.
Very good. All right, first question of the books. Yokozuna, you got it. Here's question 1 from Jim.
All right, who did Bret Hart defeat for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 8?
Ooh, WrestleMania 8, Bret Hart, Intercontinental title. So 8 is the one with Sid, I think. Sid and Hogan in the main event, and Flair and Macho Man in the like double main event. And Bret Hart, who would he have been facing for the IC title? Do you know, is this the first time he won the IC title?
I don't believe it is.
Okay. I'm going to say it's Roddy Piper. Is that correct?
It is.
Oh,
it is
nice.
Roddy Piper.
Okay. I feel like that was in the back of my head for some reason. I just listened to an awesome story of Dustin Runnels, Goldust, talking about the Hollywood backlot brawl with Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
If you could find that on YouTube, it's a recent retelling of that story. Really phenomenal story. So check that out.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah.
Good stuff.
That was a pretty crazy.
That was. They had the OJ Bronco recreation.
Yeah, the OJ chase.
It was nuts. Number 2, who was Brock Lesnar facing at WrestleMania when he attempted a failed shooting star press?
I almost wrote a question about this.
Yeah.
I didn't, but it was Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle. He goes to do the backflip off the top rope, and he lands on his head and gets a concussion, and then gives the F5 a third time to Angle to finish the match and win. I don't know if he was he champion or he won the championship.
I think he won the championship,
he won it.
If I remember right. Yeah.
Very cool. Very crazy. As much as I sometimes hate Brock Lesnar, he's still a pretty phenomenal athlete, even if he F's up a move, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
He spiked himself pretty good on that one. So.
Yeah. He's a big guy, and that's a big jump, and you land right on your head. It's gotta be rough. Question number 2 from Jim.
Question number 2, I gave you a multiple choice one here,
Ooh.
right? What artist has never sang America the Beautiful at a WrestleMania? Is it Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, Willie Nelson, or Stevie Wonder?
Feel like Ray Charles was definitely at a WrestleMania. Don't know if he sang. Aretha Franklin definitely has. And then we had, who was the third one?
Willie Nelson and Stevie Wonder were the last 2.
I'm going to say it's between those last 2. And I feel like Stevie Wonder has and Willie Nelson hasn't. I'm going to say Willie Nelson has not.
It's Stevie Wonder.
Oh,
Willie
man.
Nelson did.
I almost said him, and I'm like, I feel like I could see him at the piano in the ring or something. I'm like, I feel like, but maybe I'm thinking of Ray Charles. That's probably what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah. I have a shirt that says, it's a picture of Ray Charles, and it says Stevie Wonder on it. It's a ridiculous shirt. It's like
nice.
It's from a company called Oops Tees who makes like purposely wrong shirts. And then people go, hey, that's not right. And then you're like, oops, it's really stupid. But that is a shirt I own. Question number 3 for my friend Jim. At what WrestleMania did Macho Man face the Ultimate Warrior?
That was 7.
It was 7. Nice job. Do you remember where you're at watching that one?
Probably at a friend's house around that time. I was probably middle school, early high school, middle school. So a lot of times one family would buy the pay-per-view and we'd all kind of chip in and bring pizzas and whatever. And,
sure.
So probably at a friend's house. That was the retirement match. Now that I'm thinking about it for Macho Man.
That was a fun one. Number 3, 7.
Not that they ever actually retire. But.
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing for Mania this year?
This year, I'll probably just watch it here at home. I'll probably start it Sunday and in all honesty, finish it Monday morning.
Oh, it's going to be like 8 hours. It's a long one.
Yeah, it's ridiculous now how long it's become. And I don't know, when you end up with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins challenging for the tag titles, you're getting too many people on the show.
It's getting a little ridiculous. Is your wife a wrestling fan?
She is not. She could really care less.
Will she do you get excited enough to be like, you got to see this, or do you know better to not even try and share it with her?
Yeah, I don't even try. No, she knows that this is the one weekend, or a weekend out of the year where, I'm just going to go downstairs on, tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday and Sunday night, and she just won't see me for a little while, and that's okay. So
that's funny. I have 15 years of me going like, hey, but I know you don't like it, but you got to see this part. And then she'll watch it and go, yeah, it's great. And then walk out of the room. Right. She's never like, wow, that was exactly what I was like. I never get the reaction I'm looking for, but I never stop trying.
I've had that too, where, when guys that I've been a Ring of Honor fan for years, and when guys who were in Ring of Honor do really well in WWE and win the title or something, then I'll go, oh, this is really cool because I got to meet that guy when he was coming up or whatever. And, and she looks at me like, oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
It's got to be, to me, I imagine it's probably like when somebody likes Real Housewives of Who Gives a Shit, and then they're like, you don't watch that show, and I'm like, why would I watch that show? But like, you know what I mean? Like that's probably the reaction. I'm always amazed when I'll at live events here, I'll say, hey, who's watching WrestleMania this weekend? And nobody raises their hand, but then I'll go over to a table and I'll go, you guys are watching it, right? And they go, yeah, for sure. But they didn't raise their hand. Nobody likes to, nobody wants to admit it, but I know that I could tell by the look of the group. I'm like, you guys are going to get some chicken wings from a grocery store and you're going to watch this stupid thing. All right. Number 3 for you.
Number 3, who is the only man to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania?
The only man to ever cash it in? Well, that's got to be the only one I can think of in recent memory, Seth Rollins.
Yep,
nice.
Absolutely.
That's the only time it's ever happened at Mania, huh?
At Mania, yep.
Interesting. Okay. That's weird that it took that long. That's about, what, 10 years from when the start of it?
I mean, it's one of those kind of no-brainers you'd think, why wouldn't you want to cash it in on the biggest show of the year?
Yeah. Interesting. I guess they think that that's a good pawn to have to move, like a pay-per-view that's not WrestleMania,
probably
this thing happened at the Cyber Monday or whatever.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Here's number 4. Who won the first ever Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 21?
First Money in the Bank was... Oh, goodness. Was that Edge?
It was Edge. Very good. Edge was the first winner back at WrestleMania 21, and I forget who he went on to challenge. Cena, maybe? And then he won the... I don't know. I forget what happened.
That would make sense.
Something like that. But yeah, he
Cena
won.
always had the belt then. So.
Yeah, WrestleMania 21, Edge, first Money in the Bank. And the Money in the Bank idea came from, I think it said Eric Bischoff and Chris Jericho came up with the idea.
Yeah, I know Jericho was involved in that. That was the name that kept coming to my head when you asked the question. I'm like, no, he didn't win it. He helped come up with it.
For sure. All right, number 4.
Number 4, who was The Undertaker's first opponent at WrestleMania?
Undertaker's first opponent at WrestleMania. It's way back when, and it's somebody that's like not super exciting. I'm going to say it's Jimmy Snuka.
It was.
Nice.
Jimmy Snuka.
Very cool. Would you call him not exciting? I mean, he was exciting at one point, but even then, I don't think he was that exciting.
Yeah, by the time I think that might have been 8. I think WrestleMania 8. Yeah, he was. It wasn't very exciting anymore to see him. No, he was well past his prime.
There you go. All right, question number 5 for you. Who did Stone Cold Steve Austin shake hands with at the end of WrestleMania 19?
At the end of 19?
Yeah, who did Stone Cold Steve Austin shake hands with at the end of WrestleMania 19? I think it's 19.
The first thing that popped in my head is Vince McMahon, but that was 17.
Maybe I have the wrong one. It is Vince McMahon.
Is it Vince? Okay, yeah, that was 17.
That was WrestleMania 17. Let me check my article here. Let's see what I did wrong. Austin. Hold on. I want to make sure I get it, that I had it right here. The Rock. Oh, yeah. I'm real dumb. Yep. Austin shaking hands with McMahon, 17. You got it. Not 19. Maybe I just had a typo because it literally says 17 right in front of me.
I did that on a round this week. I looked at it, typed it right in my answers, and then on my PowerPoint totally typed the wrong thing. So.
Hey, it happens. All right, question number 5 for you.
All right, question number 5. Who won the shortest match in WrestleMania history?
Shortest match in WrestleMania history was the one I was at, I think, WrestleMania 28, Sheamus, Brogue kicking Daniel Bryan.
That was for a little while, and then at 32, The Rock beat Eric Rowan in 6 seconds.
Oh, my God. That was a match. I thought that was just like a run-in or something.
Yeah, they actually made it a match and counted now as the shortest. Which,
it
literally was a rock bottom and a 3 count. So.
What an error on my part. I barely remember that. Was it him and who did he? It was just a match.
I want to say he might have. I don't think he hosted that one, but he came out, and then the Wyatt family came out, and he said, basically, if you're going to stand here, let's do this. And
they rang the bell.
For whatever reason, I guess they didn't want to. Yeah, they rang the bell, and I guess they didn't want to feed Bray to him, so they gave him Rowan. Who is the only one on TV now. So out of those 3 right now. So.
That's so weird. Yeah. Did you see Bray Wyatt's having a baby with JoJo?
Yeah, I did see that.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, the marriage ended there, but
yeah. Very interesting stuff. All right, that's a good fact now that I know that. Number 6, although the main event was Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 28, what Hell in a Cell match stole the show?
WrestleMania 28, the Hell in a Cell.
This was the one I was at. We were just talking about it.
All right. Was that Shane and The Undertaker?
That was not. I believe that was 30.
Okay.
Or maybe 31. But what I'm looking for was Triple H Undertaker.
It was their. Those were the 2 I was between. I was trying to remember.
It was their last official match until all the crap recently at the Crown Jewel stuff.
Yeah.
I believe. So, good stuff right there. That is... or actually, no, they did one more after that, I think. I think there's...
yeah, the end of the era. Or was that the one with Michaels as the ref?
Michaels was the ref in the Hell in the Cell.
In the Hell in the Cell, yeah.
And then, okay, and Triple H has long hair. I think Triple H and Undertaker did a short hair match after that at maybe 29.
I think you're right.
And then that was the last official one. And then 30, it was Undertaker Shane, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Which is insane that Shane has been back for 5 years because I feel like he just came back.
Right.
It's nuts. All right.
He just jumps off things.
Just jumps off things, and now he needs to go again. it's like
right.
He was exciting for the first 2 years, and now I'm like, all right, all right. Number 6 for you.
Number 6. Who has the most losses in WrestleMania history?
I feel like somebody asked me this one time. The most losses in WrestleMania history. I'm gonna say that is Triple H.
It is.
Nice.
13. He's
wow.
9 and 13.
Wow. That's crazy that he's been in that many matches, and then he's probably won. You know, he's probably won a couple too. So that's
he was won 9 of them and lost 13.
Holy cow!
So
that's
22.
a lot of manias. Man, that's nuts.
So for all the people that always say he buries everybody, well, apparently not at Mania. So
yeah.
Just the rest of the year, I guess.
There you go. That's a good question. Number 7, what tag team won the TLC 2 match at WrestleMania 17?
TLC 2 was...
I'll give you a hint. It was the same tag team who won TLC 1.
Edge and Christian, I
Nice
believe.
job. Yeah, they won back-to-back TLCs. Man, 17 had some really good highlights, huh?
It did. 17 was... I think it was one of the best.
It's probably top 3.
Everything kind of... Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything just really worked. And
yeah. I always liked 4.
Right at the height of the Attitude
I always
Era.
liked 4 because at the time, 4 was the longest thing of all time. It was like the 4-hour show. And it was like, 2 tapes, I think, or whatever at the video store.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa, WrestleMania 4. And it had the huge fold-out box and the tournament and all that stuff. It was fun. That was my favorite as a kid.
I always liked 4 too, and 4 seems to get a bad rap for, the matches and that kind of thing. But I like tournaments too, I guess. So
yeah, they don't really do
helps.
Tournaments like of any kind anymore. I guess they do like a lot of NXT and like up and coming tournaments they've been doing lately for the UK
like the Mae
belt
Young
and stuff.
And the Dusty Rhodes tag team.
Yeah, I guess I want like a good old fashioned King of the Ring that means something and isn't just like Santino won it or something. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Some random.
Yeah. All right, number 7 for you.
Number 7, I gave you another multiple choice here.
Uh-huh.
What was the first WrestleMania under the WWE name after the change from WWF?
Ooh.
Was it 18, 19, or 20?
I'm going to go with 20.
It was 19.
Ah, 19.
In 2003, because they changed in May of 2002 was when the name they had to change to WWE. So
Gotcha. Very good. And now I saw the WWF is in trouble, the World Wildlife Fund, for having like crazy guards or something. Did you see that? Did you see that article?
No, I didn't see that.
They're having like militaristic guards do something, they're torturing people or something with the WWF and guards being crazy. Look that up. Here's number 8. In what city did Stone Cold Steve Austin, pass out covered in blood in Bret Hart's sharpshooter at WrestleMania 13? What city was that in?
And what city was that? I was in Chicago.
Chicago, the legendary pass out. That's a fun match, huh?
That was a good one, and probably about the only good one on that show. Honestly, that was a tough Mania.
Yeah, that was a tough year. Like around like what was it? Like 11 to 14 is not very good, or 11 to 13 maybe.
Those tend to be a little on the rough side.
Oh yeah, you're right about that. Number 8, we got 3 questions left each.
Number 8. My sheet went away here, but I know I was looking at something. Number 8 was what NFL player interfered in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? I believe that was at WrestleMania 33. Might have been 32.
My first thought to answer was Lawrence Taylor until you said WrestleMania 33. And I was like, wait, Lawrence Taylor, he was and then I was like, oh, wait, this is much later. This was Rob Gronkowski.
Yep.
And I'm not a sports guy, but I do know Gronk.
I had to throw a sports question in there for you. So.
I do know Gronk because I worked on a show that he was the host of for a while.
Cool.
So I have a picture with him. He was exactly how he appears to the public eye. Very happy-go-lucky, rich guy. So fun dude to be around.
Is that he's never spent a dime of his NFL money.
Yeah,
he's lived off his endorsements. I mean, the guy is just set forever. So
yeah, that's cool. And now he's retired. And just can you imagine 10 years, 20 to 30, your career was untouchable, and you have all these records, and you're on the Patriots, and you won all these Super Bowls, and you're a multimillionaire, and you're done, and you're 30. Like
right.
I don't think has anybody ever had it that good in terms of just like, nothing crazy happened. You know what I mean?
I can't think of anything. And I mean, he seems, as much as he likes to party, he seems like, at least a smart guy about how he does it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, he doesn't need Dave Ramsey to tell him anything about money at this point. So.
Just you and I. We just got to keep listening. Yeah. All right. Question number 9 for WrestleMania trivia. Who won the Savage Steamboat Classic at WrestleMania 3?
Oh, I'd never get that one wrong. Ricky Steamboat's my favorite of all time.
Yeah.
So Ricky Steamboat.
Do you remember how the match ends? How does he win?
It was a small package, if I remember right.
With George the Animal Steele's distraction, right?
Yes. Yeah. Steele distracted him, and that was Steamboat's been my favorite forever. So yeah, that was one I don't ever forget, that one, and his matches with Ric Flair are required watching.
Oh yeah, so. That's top-notch stuff. Do you have a lot of Steamboat collectibles, any figures or anything?
I've got most of his figures. I don't have his defining moments, and I don't have that new flashback one because, as Scott and Jeff talk about on Fully Postable each week, distribution with that series just was god awful.
Oh yeah.
I never did see that one, and right now on eBay it's I don't know $100 or whatever, and I mean I really like him, but it's just not $100 I'm spending right now.
I'm with you. I have not bought a wrestling figure for a while since we've been trying to pay off debt, but we're almost done. So I have all this stuff in the back of my head. I'm like, when we're done, I'm going to buy that and that. I did buy the Braun Strowman that comes with a car that you can break into like 10 pieces. Did you see that figure?
I have seen that. Yeah, I have seen that.
It's ridiculous. But in terms of playing with the kids, I have a bunch of loose figures and accessories from when I was a kid, and then I bought them a few figures. We probably have maybe 15 figures, and we have them in this box, and we just dump everything out. And sometimes they'll play with me for a little bit. Sometimes it's me setting everything up, and then they walk out of the room, and I'm like, all right, this is crazy. But in terms of just having fun with something, I was like, that looks cool, just because they've never had a car. They've never had a figure that comes with a car that breaks in all these pieces. So I think this will be kind of fun.
Yeah. And that was, and then the funny thing was they went and had him actually break a car like that, a week later.
Yeah, that worked out pretty good.
Sell all these toys. I mean, you can't say they're not smart about merchandising at WWE. So
that's true. They know what's up. That's good stuff.
I haven't bought too many lately. I did pick up the Pete Dunne. When I caught that out at Target. So
very cool. That's hard to find. That and the Alistair, it seems like, are hard to find.
Yeah, I haven't found the Alistair or the Drew McIntyre yet. Those are wants for me, but yeah, Target here is I can get any Alexander Rusev NXT figure I want, but
oh yeah. They never stop talking about the Tito Santana always being on the peg, and I don't understand. To this day, that figure's 6 years old. It's so old, and you'll still find it.
You'll still find it
at Target. It's and there'll be 6 of them, and I'm like, why is this still here?
And they haven't marked them down. They're still $19.99.
No, those should be. If they were $1, I said to Jeff and Scott, I was like, if these were $1, I wouldn't buy them. I would buy them to get them out of the store. I just don't want to see them anymore.
That's exactly it. If I had the extra money, I would buy those Rusevs to get them out of there too, and see if we could get Alistair in. But
yeah. I'm with you.
$20 a shot. I'm not, again, for $1, I wouldn't buy the Alexander Rusev either. So
there you go. All right. Question number 9.
All right. Question number 9 for you. Who won the first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 30?
Okay. Here's the people who I know who have won. Mojo Rawley, which I don't think, is he even in wrestling anymore?
They've had him do some promos lately, but yet I don't even know. I haven't even seen if he's worked main event.
Yeah, that's crazy. So he won. I remember one time. I know Cesaro won, but I don't know if it was the first one. I feel like it was the second one, but maybe it was the first one. I think it was Big Show. Did Big Show win?
Big Show won the second one. Cesaro was the first one.
See, I flipped that around. And somebody asked me that question one time before, and I did the exact same thing. I was like, it couldn't have been Cesaro because that would have been too cool. I feel like they're like, well, we got to give it to Big Show first. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing.
Yep.
But I was wrong. Interesting.
Yeah, he actually body slammed Big Show out of the ring to win it. So
are they doing that again this year?
They are. It's on the 18-hour pre-show.
It's like a tour. It's a full 2-hour pre-show, I think.
It is 2
with
hours.
Like 4 matches.
5.5 hours they've blocked out for the actual main show, so 7.5 hours.
Oh my god! And it'll probably go long. It'll probably be 8 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because I can't imagine anybody's actually buying it on pay-per-view anymore.
Yeah, they just keep going.
I think it's still available, but why would you spend $65 on pay-per-view and for $9.99 you can get it?
Exactly.
Yeah, so they can go as long as they want because it's their network. So
that's true. All right, we're into my last question for you. Let's see how you can get. The only one you missed was the one about Triple H, Undertaker, when you said Triple H, Shane McMahon, or Undertaker, Shane. Yeah. So here's number 10. Who retired Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25?
WrestleMania 20. The Undertaker.
That's right. You nailed it. 9 out of 10. Nice job. Jim, let's see if I can do a similar score for this last question.
All right. I kind of went bonus question material a little bit here. Mm-hmm. Chris Jericho defeated 3 legends in an elimination match at WrestleMania 25. Mm-hmm. Can you name 2 of them?
So I think the 3 were Roddy Piper, Steamboat, and Snuka.
Yep, you got them all.
Nice. Very good. I remember that fondly, and I thought it was pretty cool, but those guys could like barely move, you know?
Yeah, Steamboat was okay still. Piper was...
and Steamboat's the only one still around, right? Yeah.
He is, yeah. Snuka and Piper have both passed. And,
yeah.
That was... and then Mickey Rourke was in the front row. That was when that movie The Wrestler came out.
Oh, yeah, and he punches him?
So he punched Jericho or something, and another guy who, is older than dirt.
Yeah, so. Yeah. If he was a wrestler, like in real life, he'd be gone.
Right.
He'd probably have passed away by now. But awesome, man. WrestleMania trivia is in the books. I think I got 7 out of 10, and you got 9 out of 10. So nice job. Nice. And anything you want to plug before you go watch the big event this weekend?
Yeah, anybody, if you're out in Nebraska, come check it out. Facebook is the easiest place to find me. It's facebook.com/the Askin Nerbaskin. So check out, I've got all my events on there so people can know where we're going, and I always post the topics at least a couple of days ahead of time. At least that's the goal. So be fun to have anybody come on out and play. I know, shout out to Caleb. I know he listens to your podcast. And,
oh, nice.
Which means I can't use anything from your podcast now. Has any questions?
Yeah.
Gives them a little bit of an unfair advantage. So
sure. That's awesome.
There have been a few times though where I fall behind on the podcast and I'll use something that you used, but I hadn't heard it yet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he'll just kind of stand up at his table and look at me funny, and I'm like, oh crap, that's on the podcast.
Oh, that's the guy you told me. You said that he was like, hey, did you get that question from the show? And yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it was the Hong Kong Fooey question or something.
Yeah, him being a janitor during the day, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Very cool.
He looks at me and goes, did you get that from a podcast?
Very cool, man. That's great. Yeah, I'm sure there's other people who listen around the Nebraska area. So if you live there and you want to go play some fun trivia, check out Jim Fields, the Askin Nerbaskin. Jim, thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ryan. Have a great one.
I'll talk to you soon. Another great wrestling-themed episode of the show. There are quite a few wrestling-themed episodes of the show. If you dig wrestling, I hope you have fun this weekend watching The Big Show. And you can go back in our feed and look for more wrestling-themed episodes, including one I did with my brother Scott Buds a few weeks ago on wrestlers who died too soon. We talk about some of our favorite wrestlers from throughout the ages and the ones that died young or under crazy circumstances. Look up Dino Bravo if you've never... wondered what happened. If you've ever wondered what happened to him, I knew he died, but he was murdered by the mob in Canada for selling cigarettes. So that's a crazy little sidebar story. But if you like that kind of stuff, if you like weird stories, if you like wrestling, go check out that episode. We've also done some other WrestleMania trivia in years past, SummerSlam trivia with my friend Mike Epsenhart, I believe, and just all around different things about wrestling. So if you like that kind of thing, you're in the right place. Just go back and check out the feed. Thank you guys so much for listening to this show. Thanks for supporting it by leaving iTunes reviews and sending me messages. I always love getting emails on what people like or don't like about the show. So definitely keep emailing me. And thanks for telling a friend who likes trivia about the Trivia with Buds podcast. We'll see you tomorrow for more Trivia with me. Cheers.